It's something that'll change the world and human life as we know it.
He knows. He's seen the light.
When Monty talks, it's painful.
Monty, you have been so instrumental in kind of pointing me in the right direction.
It was about looking at your character defects in spirituality.
It's the integration of clinical practices with the 12 steps.
It's an absolute pleasure. He certainly knows a lot of people. He's got a lot of energy, and sometimes when you don't have so much energy, he picks you up and carries you.
And the Monty man there certainly helps.
This is one of the places that is about the business of the solution.
The views expressed on this special broadcast of the Take 12 radio show do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting or its affiliates. KHLT is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Now here's that guy who's getting less popular minute by minute. Your host, the Multi-Man.
Well, greetings, recovery family. Welcome to another fine episode, once again, here at Take12Radio.com on your internet dial, broadcasting to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week via the internet, and also on the Bill Post radio network at BillPost.com. Hey, remember, you can go to our website at Take12Radio.com, and you can click on the live feed banner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to noon. And then those broadcasts rebroadcast again at 6 o'clock and at 9 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday. And then somewhere in there randomly on the weekends as well on the Bill Post Radio Network on our live feed. If you want to listen to the featured broadcast, what is currently totally up to date, just click on the featured podcast link right in the center of the page. Now, in the case of this show, this particular interview and show is extremely unusual because we are promoting something that I am very excited about, I'm very passionate about, and doggone it, I want you to get on board with me because this is so vitally important. We're going to be talking with Barbara Gerrior, and we're going to be talking about the Recovery Northwest Project. What is that? Well, we're going to explain that to you. Here's the thing. You guys know that I have a passion and a real, it really sticks in my craw. This whole thing about stigma and addiction. And we're all about breaking stigma here at Take 12 Radio. And one of the best ways we can do that is to open our mouths, to gather together, to rally together. Heavens knows we rally together about all sorts of crazy, silly things. This isn't crazy or silly. This is one of the most sane things you will ever do in your life, particularly if you're an advocate of recovery or a member of the recovery community. And that is participate in the Recovery Northwest Project. This is so important. Now listen, our email address is take12radio@comcast.net. If you're listening on your tablet or smart device, or you're listening to a burned copy of this show, our web address is take12radio.com. You can spell it out. You can use the number. Either way, it will take you there. All right. I'm excited about this, you guys. This is going to be so awesome. We're going to be participating. This is going to be just a blast. The Recovery Northwest Project is just literally right around the corner. September 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's going to start out with a 2-day conference. And then it's going to go into a bunch of other stuff, too. There's all sorts of things going on. Barbara Gerrior is my guest right now. Barbara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Lonnie.
You bet. It's good to have you on. You guys have been, you and Joey Smith and Fletcher Drew and others have been working very hard to bring this thing about. But before we talk about this, so Barbara, you worked very hard as a program coordinator for recovery support specialist at the Clark County Department of Community Services. You have a master's in social work. How did you get in this field?
How did I get into this field?
Yeah.
Well, I got into this field after a long life, addiction and poverty, and luckily, the good Lord brought me back around and decided I was going to be doing this for work.
And you're a very, very, very busy person, and I do my homework. You are also very well loved. You are a woman of faith, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just because we're people of faith doesn't mean that we're exempt from the power of addiction, does it?
Oh, no, Monty, it does not. In fact, I think almost everybody who has had an addiction or has an addiction has a lot of faith.
Yeah.
It's alcohol and drugs have touched, and other addictions have touched every person's life.
Yeah, you bet. Well, what does a program coordinator for the Clark County Department of Community Services do? What is your job there?
Well, my job for the last 10 years has been managing a grant that we got from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration from the federal government. The state of Washington got what they call an Access to Recovery grant, and I have been implementing that grant here in Clark County. We're one of 6 counties in the state of Washington that got that grant. The state of Oregon also got the grant. They didn't get it until 3 years ago. But that's what I've been doing is vouchering recovery support services for folks in recovery.
And because the financial piece is a real, it's a problem, right? Getting people help.
Well, getting them a treatment is fairly easy, getting them through the systems and getting them into treatment. But it's recovery support services they need afterwards. And sober. It's the things that help give them a hand up. Housing, work clothes, education. With this grant, we've been able to do a lot of things for people, including fixing their teeth.
Okay, so Barbara, let me ask you this question. You guys, if you're helping people after the treatment process, after they've come through, whether it's IOP or whether it's inpatient or whatever, is getting people plugged into a sober living environment that is actually effective, is that a challenge?
Well, it was a challenge here in Clark County at first. It's been less of a challenge since we have 37 Oxford houses here in Clark County, which is more than many other places have. And
wow,
a lot of that's due to the fact that we've had the vouchers and the ability to pay individual housing for folks when they get out of treatment, or if they want to go into a faith-based organization, they don't have to go to state-certified treatments, and they can go into a faith-based organization. We've been able to help faith-based organizations build in Clark County and in the state of Washington with the Access to Recovery grant.
Yeah. Oh, that's marvelous. That's marvelous. Well, okay. So, we are learning more and more. I know, and this is something I'm learning even more as of this year, is that the Vancouver area and Clark County has a very strong recovery community. True?
Amazing. It's very, very strong recovery community. Folks have come together from the faith-based organizations, the treatment organizations, corrections, the county jail, all phases here. So we have a great, a fantastic recovery community.
Yeah, that's incredible. Do you find that the health professionals and the 12-steppers are they more on the same page than they used to be, you think?
In Clark County, yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's good news. That is really good news. Well, Barbara, we're gonna take our first break here. We're gonna listen. We got to listen to a sponsor, and then we're gonna listen to the first promo here for the Recovery Northwest Project. And listeners, you'll recognize Cecil. Cecil's from our Wednesday show. There's Cecil and Cecil's brother, Dude, and they're going to be talking about the Recovery Northwest Project. And when we come back, Barbara, if you would explain to me exactly how this thing got started, how the vision came to you guys to do this, and what is going to be going on here in just a very short period of time, just right around the corner. So, folks, don't go away. More with my guest, Barbara Gerrior, speaking on the Recovery Northwest Project coming up here in September. You don't want to miss out on this thing. You really don't. So don't go away. We'll be right back. When it comes to drug and alcohol treatment, all of us here at Take 12 Radio understand how overwhelming it is to find the right facility for you and your loved one. The internet alone is flooded with drug and alcohol treatment centers claiming to be the one that can help achieve a life of abundance free from addiction. How can one possibly know which one to choose? Well, when you call Broad Highway Recovery for a drug and alcohol treatment referral, you will immediately know that the person who answers the phone is very passionate about making sure they recommend the best facility for the individual that's in need. They will narrow your search down to 3 drug rehab facilities based on the information that you provide. Each call is confidential, and each caller will be treated with the utmost respect and compassion. Look you don't have to go through this alone. The folks at Broad Highway are interventionists that are 100% committed to helping your family. If you are willing to go to any length for your loved one, then they can help you begin the recovery process. Please call them today and take the first step towards a new and bright future on the broad highway of recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. Their toll-free number is 877-487-1599. That's 877-487-1599. Visit their website at broadhighwayrecovery.com.
Hey, dude.
Hey, bro.
Man, I am so excited about this year's National Recovery Month.
Why, bro?
Because, dude, on September 12th, 13th, and 14th, hundreds of recovery folks will be gathering in Vancouver, Washington in unity and purpose, dude.
Pardon me, bro, but what purpose?
Aw, dude, to celebrate the gift of recovery. Pay attention.
Really? What time, bro?
At 9 a.m. Friday morning, September 12th, an incredible recovery conference will kick off the event at the Red Lion Inn in Vancouver, Washington, dude. Exhibitors, speakers, and presenters will all come together as we break down the stigma of addiction, dude.
Yeah? Then what happens?
On Sunday, we'll walk on over to Eastern Short Park for the powerful Hands Across the Bridge ceremony, dude, followed by Oxfest. You know, the sober living folks.
Can I bring my buddies?
Everyone's invited, dude, and it's free.
It's free?
Dude, what did I just say?
For details on all the events at the Recovery Northwest Project, visit recoverynw.org. Supported in part by the Clark County Department of Community Services, Alcohol and Drug Program, and the Clark County Substance Abuse Advisory Board. Yes, indeedy. Well, welcome back. Barbara Gerrior is my guest, and we are talking about the Recovery Northwest Project. You just heard from Cecil and his brother Dude, and Cecil and Dude show up on occasion on our Wednesday Open Forum show and do recovery trivia, amongst other things. So we thank them for that. But this is that was kind of the comedic the promo. We got a more serious one coming up, but this is really an awesome event. Okay, Barbara. One of the things the promo talked about was Oxfest. Another thing was the Hands Across the Bridge. Two things that most listeners that listen to this show are familiar with, but they may not be familiar with the Recovery Northwest Project because this is the first year. So, Barbara, explain to us, what was it that got you guys excited about doing something like this, and what exactly is it?
Okay, Monty. Well, about a year and a half ago, we, I told you already that Vancouver, Washington, Clark County, we have a big recovery community, and it spreads pretty all the way across the county, and lots of people, lots of counties in Washington, and the East Coast has what they call the Philadelphia Project. They get tens of thousands of people out there.
Right.
And they got the Brooklyn Bridge Walk, and they really have highlighted recovery in a positive way. But we have never in the West Coast had that going on. So we got to thinking about it, and through some extra funding from Access to Recovery grant that we have here, we were able to get some money together, and the Department of Behavioral Health and Sciences and Recovery here in the state of Washington helped us with the money, and they wanted to give it to the recovery community to plan a recovery event. And we decided that it's time to start a regional event Northwest. So we formed a committee, and everybody on the committee is either in recovery or supports recovery. We have some people on the committee from law enforcement, from the sheriff's department, from the city police. We have a lot of different people on the committee that are helping with this and planning it. But basically, most of the people are in recovery. And this is going to be the first year. Well, we already have Hands Across the Bridge, and we've had that for 13 years. And 13 years ago when it started, there weren't many people on that bridge at all. And since then, it's grown to I think about 3,000 people last year.
Wow.
And then Oxfest is right afterwards in the same park. So we thought we're going to start building our recovery in the Northwest Project regional with those two events. And we were able to put together a conference this year that's going to be 2 days before the Hands Across the Bridge and a walk. And this will be the last year that we received the Access to Recovery funding, so there will be the Recovery Forum will be a dinner on Saturday night that will celebrate. We'll have speakers to talk about how their recovery went since they've got that funding. And the Substance Abuse Advisory Board to the commissioners here in Clark County usually do that event every year, and they have for about 9 years. So we've combined all of those events as the conference, as the walk, and we're hoping that this will just keep growing. And actually, it's gotten legs. It's really gotten legs because we have speakers coming from Oregon. We asked Oregon to join us. We have speakers coming from there. We have speakers coming from Spokane. We have a speaker coming from California. We have somebody from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, our regional person, coming. So we have a comedian from Portland. Susan Rice is coming. So we have a lot of people who have really stepped in and joined. Clark College here in Clark County is they've stepped up and they want to help support the event. So much interest that I don't know if we'll have. I know the walk itself will probably be small this year unless we get a lot of people turning out for it. But it's going to grow and it's going to become a really big regional event. So we can, like you say, fight this stigma of addiction and highlight that people in recovery are very successful people, many of them.
Yeah, you bet. And I heard a rumor that the world's only faith-based recovery radio station is actually going to be at Red Lion too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, listeners.
That's just another blessing. That's just another blessing that's come on board with this. We've just got a lot of faith-based organizations are coming on board.
Yeah.
We have a pastor coming down from Spokane who's going to open the ceremony. We have I think the Spokane Sheriff's coming down. We have our own sheriff who's supported recovery for many years here coming to the event. So we have a lot of people, and the event is going to be great. I'm just really excited.
So exciting.
I have not seen anything grow like this, as quickly as it has.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I got to tell you, I am just tickled to death to be a part of this. I am so excited. My wife and I and one of my co-hosts, we're going to be coming up there. Folks, we're going to be at the Red Lion now. The 2-day conference on the 12th and 13th, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be at the Red Lion, Vancouver, right there. And you can go. You'll see presenters and speakers, and there'll be people with their booths and so forth. What's amazing about this is you guys, and this is closed now because it's already full. But this actually starts September 8th in reality with the Recovery Coach Academy. You guys are working a lot of days.
Yes. It's going to be long because there is going to be the Recovery Coaching Academy is from the Connecticut model, and they have brought that into Washington through Access to Recovery. So we're training people in the recovery coaching model, and it's a different model than sponsoring or peer, but it is a great model, and it works good. And everybody that's been trained in the state of Washington is just amazed with it. So we're happy to have them on board doing the trainings. They're going to do the ethics training and the coach training and trainer training. So we got that going on at the same time as the conference. We got the deaf community is having two whole workshops of their very own.
Wow. In fact, let me just run through this real quick. September 8th to the 12th, Recovery Coach Academy, Connecticut Community for Addiction Recovery. September 12th and 13th is the 2-day conference. And that starts at 9 a.m. to 4. From 5 p.m. to 10 on the 13th is the annual Clark County Recovery Forum. Then there's the ATR Celebration Dinner. There's going to be resource tables and door prizes. On the 14th, we're going to walk from the Red Lion Inn to Esther Short Park. And at noon is the Hands Across the Bridge at Esther Short Park. And then at 1 o'clock is Oxfest at Esther Short Park. This just goes on and on and on. And folks, if you want to see some great photographs of past events at Esther Short Park with Oxfest and Hands Across the Bridge, just Google Hands Across the Bridge Vancouver. Just Google that. There are some phenomenal pictures. You won't believe the amount of people. I mean, it is just incredible. And you know, Barbara, I crack up because we were talking, one of my producers and I, we were talking about whenever there's a large group like that of people in recovery, you know, we always imagine, what would it be like if they were all under the influence at the same time? We would be in deep, deep weeds. But what an awesome thing. Okay, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about National Recovery Month, because this falls on National Recovery Month. And we'll talk about how many years that's been going on and some more good stuff surrounded around the Recovery Northwest Project with my guest, Barbara Gerrior, when we come back. Don't go away.
As men and women who have recovered from utterly hopeless states of addiction ourselves, we know all too well what it's like to battle addiction daily. We are Origins Recovery Centers. Here at Origins, we have taken that which we have learned along the way, excised anything unhelpful and unnecessary, infused it with the latest medical research and innovative therapeutic methods, and created what we know to be the absolute gold standard in substance abuse treatment. And Origins provides the most preeminent aftercare and relapse prevention program available in the United States. For a free confidential clinical assessment, call toll-free 888-843-8935. That's 888-843-8935. Origins, delivering real solutions for real families.
Sober Chat is the first ever location-sensitive mobile chat application designed to instantly connect people who share the common goal of staying sober. Sober Chat will revitalize and revolutionize 12-stepping as we know it. At any time of the day or night, you can simply log on and help someone by making phone contact, taking someone to a meeting for coffee, or chatting via text messaging on the Sober Chat mobile application. Register now for your download of the Sober Chat app. Visit SoberChatApp.com. The power of sharing is at your fingertips. Sober Chat, the app that saves lives. Sober Chat is not a replacement for attending 12-step meetings, sponsorship, or working the 12 steps.
He's a little crazy, but then again, you already knew that.
I got in like 3 fights when I was in grade school. All 3 of them were with the bully. You know, we all know who they are. They're always a little bit bigger, they kind of smelly, and we duke it out. And after he beat the snot out of me, I'd say, "You come back tomorrow and I'll give you more of that."
It's the Bill Post Radio Show. Bill Post Radio Show. Weekdays at noon.
Everyone's trying to get it right. That's right, lover boy. Everybody's working for the weekend, and this weekend is nothing short of awesome. We're talking about September 12th, 13th, and 14th, beginning with a 2-day conference, an amazing conference at the Red Lion in Vancouver. What's really cool about this, and people may not, you may be shocked, but this is free. Even the dinner. Is that correct, Barbara?
There is no cost to the dinner. The only thing we're asking is that people register because space is limited, and we're just going to take people until we get full.
Yeah. So they need to register. And the website, by the way, folks, is Recovery NW. And that's Northwest, recoverynw.org. You can follow the links here at take12radio.com. Please register. What an exciting thing. Okay. Fletcher Drew was scheduled to be with us and couldn't be with us for the show today, folks, but he's somebody else that's partnered with Barbara. Tell us a little bit about Fletcher, Barbara.
Well, Fletcher is a man in recovery and spent time in prison and got his life together. And I don't want to tell Fletcher's whole story, but he went to school and he became an alcohol and drug counselor. And a few years ago when we were having the recovery forum here in Clark County, he does photography, and he has always done the photography for Hands Cross Bridge and for Oxfest and for the recovery forum.
Yeah.
He was able to get a great job in our community through what he's done, and he works hard in our community, in the recovery community itself.
Yeah, and I want to give kudos to Joey Smith, treatment consultant for Pacific Recovery Consulting. I met Joey at the Sober Portland networking event, which we cover every month, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, folks. And Joey was talking about the Recovery Northwest project, and I told our PR person, I said, we have got to get on board with this thing. We have got to promote the heck out of this deal because this is so vitally important. So Joey, if you're listening, thank you so much for doing what you do and being a great representative for the Recovery Northwest project. All right, this is September is National Recovery Month, celebrating 25 years. SAMHSA is a big advocator of that, and they're actually helping to promote this event as well. Isn't that correct, Barbara?
Well, they are. Actually, the money, you follow the money uphill. Downhill. That's what actually where the money came from in the beginning. Yes.
Yeah. And so we're so glad that they're involved too, and so many people. Listen. So who do you want to invite to this thing, folks? Let me tell you, everyone in recovery, their parents, friends, family, teachers, counselors, employers, pastors, social workers, professionals, anyone interested, and maybe even a few people that maybe don't think they are interested. Let me tell you, listeners, bring somebody that you don't think would normally come to something like this, because a lot of the reason that we're having difficulty breaking through stigma is because so many people, and correct me if I'm wrong, Barbara, but there are a lot of people that are still unaware of the real problem and the real solution surrounded around addiction, right?
There is. There are many people, yes.
Yeah, and we need to do all we can to be on the same page, and it's time to break down the crazy walls that we put up, like, one step, 12-step program against another 12-step program and one treatment center against this and that. This is the time to come together, drop the rock and say, you know what, we're on the same side. We're banding together, and we are raising our hands and making a stand for the hope of recovery, because the lie is dead. We do and we can recover. Folks, I want you to get on board. Go to recoverynw.org. Do it today and register and bring somebody to this event. It's for fun and for free. Barbara, you've attended the Hands Across the Bridge before and Oxfest before, true?
From the first years, yes.
From the first years. And you've seen this thing grow by numbers. What has been your feel about the sense of community in amongst all these people gathering together for this thing?
Oh, it's amazing, Monty. It's amazing. It's good to go down there for the Hands Across the Bridge and for the Oxfest, and it's almost like everybody knows everybody, but they don't. And it's,
yeah.
It is amazing. You have the faith-based organizations down there at the park, and we'll have them at the conference too. We have the faith-based organizations, the walk in the morning of the 14th, the walk, the treatment center, our local treatment center. They are providing the catering for a breakfast. So we have so many people working together here, and I see that happening more and more everywhere. It used to be pretty secluded. You had the AA folks and the NA folks and all the anonymous folks over here. I see so many anonymous folks that go to the meetings that are out in the community now, and there is nothing anonymous about them. They're out there. Their names are out there. They're working hard and all across Washington.
Yeah. Anonymity does not mean secrecy, does it?
No, it doesn't mean secrecy at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, people for years thought that they couldn't share their stories of experience, strength, and hope because it was breaking some sort of anonymity tradition. And the truth of the matter is that's not true. You can stand and you can share your story. You can tell people that this recovery thing works. Barbara, you are somebody that, like I said before, is a person of faith. Do you believe that our Creator works through the 12-step process?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know that sounds like a silly question, but there are some people that are listening for the first time and they don't know.
Oh yes. Through the AA, NA, all those programs, our Creator's working through everything.
Yeah.
He's big. and people ask me if I go to meetings. Do you go to NAAA meetings? And I've been in recovery for 23 years. And I just simply tell them I don't go to meetings anymore because I traded my big book for a Bible. Now, that was my choice.
Sure.
But I know, there are many, many pathways to recovery, Monty. Many pathways to recovery.
Yeah.
I've learned that. And in this 23 years, I've learned that there are so many pathways to recovery that we can't discriminate against any of them.
No, we can't.
We're getting well.
And we don't know what God's up to. Sometimes it doesn't look like how we would do it, but we just have to trust Him and know that He's still in control, right?
That's right, He is.
Yeah. And Bill W. talked about Alcoholics Anonymous as being a spiritual kindergarten. In fact, some people don't know this, but when Bill was dealing with his depression and his inability to emotionally disconnect from other people to be okay with himself, he actually had to back away from the fellowship of AA for a while because he had become so emotionally dependent on the meetings. And he talks about that in a letter that he sent to a depressed friend, which ended up in one of the articles of the Grapevine. A part of that letter did. But we can become dependent. We can become meeting dependent. We can become church dependent. We can become other people dependent. We can become everything except for dependent on our higher power. And when we do that, we're in trouble, right?
Absolute trouble. And that's my whole testimony, Monty.
Yeah.
When I talk to people and when I talk to them, it's only been just the past few, not too long, of years that it's been recognized in many fields that there's a real spiritual component, and until people can grab a hold of that component, and then I'm not peddling religion or anything else,
right,
doctrine or anything, until you can settle inside yourself who God is and where you fit in and what part you play, that your recovery can be very unhealthy. I'm not going to say it is, but it can be very unhealthy.
Yeah, you bet. Well, we're going to take our last break, and when we get back, we're going to wrap up the show. Folks, again, the website is recoverynw.org. The Recovery Northwest Project coming up September 12th, 13th, and 14th in Vancouver, Washington, starting out at the Red Lion Inn. Please come by our table. We're not an exhibitor. We're actually going to be working. If you see kind of a big guy with a bald head walking towards you with a microphone, I may be putting you on the air to share what your experience, strength, and hope is at the event. You never know. So just be warned, the Monty Man is going to be on the prowl. All right, folks, don't go away. More when we come back. Serenity Springs Recovery Center, located on the beautiful east coast of Florida. A unique facility that is committed to providing exceptional individual care in small group settings while utilizing their experienced and dedicated clinical and support staff of licensed therapists and doctors. Visit their website, serenityspringsrecovery.com, or call 386-423-4540. Serenity Springs, making a life-changing investment into your recovery.
Men, women, and their families experience tremendous pain and suffering due to the struggles they face from substance abuse and its co-occurring mental health challenges. They need to find a safe place for peace and healing. Therapia Addiction Healing Center was born out of a deep desire to provide that safe and powerful healing environment. Therapia exists to help people recover from addictions by developing and maintaining healthy, meaningful relationships with God, self, and others. To speak with an addiction specialist, call 1-855-652-4325. That's 1-855-652-4325. Or visit our website at www.therapia.net. Therapia Addiction Healing Center, restoring lives one step at a time.
Hey, September is National Recovery Month, and the Recovery Northwest Project, September 12th through the 14th, beginning Friday at 9 a.m. with an incredible two-day conference at the Red Lion, Vancouver, featuring the movers and shakers of the recovery community. Then on Sunday, we'll move on over to beautiful Esther Short Park after the recovery walk and to join the powerful Hands Across the Bridge ceremony. Exhibitors, music, speakers, fun, food, and the power in numbers as hundreds of us gather to celebrate National Recovery Month at the Recovery Northwest Project, Vancouver, Washington. Visit recoverynw.org for details on all the events. Supported in part by the Clark County Department of Community Services Alcohol and Drug Program and the Clark County Substance Abuse Advisory Board. All right, and we have returned, and you've joined us here at Take12Radio.com on your internet dial, broadcasting to you from the studios of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting on the outskirts of beautiful downtown Albany, Oregon. And who would have thought a little over 10 years ago that a recovery radio station, a faith-based recovery radio station to boot, would come out of little old stinky Albany. You just never know what God's up to. I am telling you. And I want to thank all of you who have supported us over the years for helping us make it to June 5th was our 10-year mark, and we're pressing forward, and we just love this, and being part of events like the Recovery Northwest Project, Oxfest, and Hands Across the Bridge, and so many other things that we're involved in is such a privilege. It's such an honor to be able to do that. It's I have a friend that says it's a privilege and an honor to be anywhere these days, because I should have been 6 feet under. And we're still walking around doing this thing, and God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. And I got to tell you, folks, listen, if you're having trouble with the God thing and you're in a 12-step fellowship, it may be a good idea to work a 4th step around God. Ever thought of that? It might just help you out. Talk with your sponsor about it. All right, we are getting ready to wrap up the show. We're going to be playing some recovery music, one of my favorite things to do at the end of the show when we close out. Barbara Gerrior is my guest. She is somebody who is very involved. She is a program coordinator for the Clark County Department of Community Services. She has a master's in social work. She is one of us. When I say that, for those of you who are not in recovery, what I mean is she's been through the ringer of addiction just like we have, and she's doing the deal. She's giving away what's been freely given to her. She's very involved in National Recovery Month and in the founding of the Recovery Northwest Project, along with Fletcher Drew and some others, Joey Smith and a band of other people, committee members, board members, etc. You guys, Barbara, you don't do this by yourself, do you?
No, we don't do it by ourselves.
Yeah, it takes an enormous amount of work. So you guys have committees that have been meeting for some time now, right?
We do, and we have some great, wonderful people on the committees, and they've in many stages of their recovery.
Yeah, so people in different stages of the recovery are involved in something like this. And I'm not to minimize involvement in meetings and service work in their 12-step programs, but it's good to step outside of those arenas and help in the community, isn't it?
It is, and it's even better to be able to enjoy your recovery, enjoy the experiences you've had in your life, and know and back what you've been freely given, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so great. I'm looking forward to meeting Patty Katz. She is the lady that did she found the Hands Across the Bridge program?
She's the kingpin, yes.
She's the kingpin.
I've known Patty for about 17 years, and she's a dynamic person. I'm glad you're going to maybe interview her. That would be wonderful. She's, like I said, she's a dynamic person, and I just love her to no end, and so does everybody from here in Washington, this Washington to that Washington over there in D.C.
You bet. You bet. And she's very involved in Faces and Voices. And I hope, Patty, if you're listening to the show and you haven't called me yet, get on the phone and we need to talk. If you already have, thank you for the interview. But what a wonderful lady to be dedicated to this thing for so many years. And kudos to you guys. Barbara, thank you so much for your service, my friend. It's so much appreciated.
Well, I thank you for even contacting me. I thank Joey for putting this together. I just it just shows you that this is clear across the United States. But we want to highlight it here, and that's what we're doing with this event. So I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to having you at our conference and the rest of the event.
All right. Well, this has been a great time together. Folks, again, recoverynw.org is the website. Go and register. Recovery Month, National Recovery Month, September. 25 years, celebrating 25 years of National Recovery Month. Recovery Northwest Project in Vancouver. The dates, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's for fun, it's for free, and it's for your health. It will inspire you. If you've been feeling kind of down in the dumps, maybe, sometimes we can get a little depressed, and I mean, heavens knows, there's been some sad events going on in the last week with the passing of Robin Williams, some other folks that have gotten into some trouble. I mean, it seems like it never ends, but I am telling you, life is a wonderful thing to experience. You don't want to miss it. Get involved. I know it's hard, folks. I know it's difficult. I know it's sad. I know it can be depressing, and sometimes it's clinically depressing. But we need each other. We can help hold each other up. And events like this are what that's all about, and about breaking the stigma of addiction. My guest has been Barbara Gerrior, And I'm so appreciative of the work she's doing. Barbara, any last words for the listeners?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing any of them that'll come. I just want to meet as many people as possible at this event and hear their stories. I love it.
All right, my friends, that wraps it up for this portion of the show. Listen, we've got some recovery music coming up, so don't go away. We're going to wrap up the show with that. And, burn copies of this show, download it. You can listen to it on our YouTube station. You can download the MP3. You can click on the play button. You know the routine. Well, here is my girl, Amanda Broadway. I met her at the 12-Step Music Fest years ago with her song, her powerful song, I Surrender. Isn't that really what it's all about anyway? Surrendering? Here's Amanda.
How can you see through the muddy waters in me? I can't catch the thoughts between the lines. Nothing seems right to define these feelings in me, all like broken glass. I'm treading on another night from dusk to dawn. Then another morning comes and nothing changes. Yeah, I know time takes time, so I accept that just for today. I am broken and I'm afraid of surrender. What a mess I've made. I've trampled love and run away. I've hid from insecurities. Still I can't find relief of this indigestion with the clog in my emotions. I lay down on my pillow and the tears fall, 'cause nothing changes. Yeah, I know time takes time, so I accept that just for today. I am broken and I'm afraid of surrender. My feet, the only place I need to live. I learned to love and to forgive in the meantime. And I find peace in the hope that you believe in me, that you see something that I don't. Yeah, something's changing. Yeah, I know time takes time, so I accept that just for today. I am broken, but I'm okay, 'cause I surrender. No, I don't have to fight anymore. No. Whoa, yeah, I surrender. I give it all up to you, no more this pretending.
Thank you, Amanda. What a tremendously gifted young singer-songwriter, Amanda Broadway. Make sure you Google her and get her music. All right, coming up next is a gentleman we featured on yesterday's show, Radio Rehab, The Road to Redemption. This song is a song that Brian Duncan wrote when he was in the middle of his addiction. He had no idea what he was writing at the time until years later, as he began to give away what was so freely given to him in his particular 12-step fellowship. Here's Brian Duncan with his song, Step by Step.
And we'll just take it one step at a time after that, one clap at a time. accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is and not as I would have it, trusting that He will make all things right if I surrender to His will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next.
righty then, that is there. All right, that wraps it up for another episode here of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Special thanks to my guest, Barbara Gerrior of the Recovery Northwest Project. Thank you, Barbara, so much for your service. Remember the dates: September 12th, 13th, and 14th, beginning at the Red Lion Inn in Vancouver, right there on the water. Starting with a 2-day conference for fun and for free, speakers, presenters. Take 12 Radio is going to be there. I'm going to be there amongst a whole bunch of other people. And then to the walk over to Esther Short Park for the Hands Across the Bridge on Sunday. Oxfest in Esther Short Park. Just a tremendous gathering of recovery people for National Recovery Month, celebrating 25 years. Wow, that's awesome. All right. Until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man, and I'm wishing God's perfect serenity. For who? For you. That's right, for you. Bye-bye now.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.